Welcome back to More Moss to the People. I am Asa Nilsson and I am your host. Today I have my friend. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Melissa de Jong is on from, if you can believe it, all the way from Australia. Now, hold on. I have to look at my cheat sheet because she's told me where she's from. She's from, yes,
Yeah.
yes, she is in Canberra, which is outside of outside of Melbourne, right?
Yes, it's outside of Canberra. Canberra is the capital, and
Okay.
I'm an hour out.
I have obviously never been in this place. And I can't believe that it takes a little bit of coordinating to get somebody that is in Australia on as a podcast guest, as you can well imagine with the timing. So I am here on Friday evening in the United States, Eastern Standard, and she is now at what, 7 or 11 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, 10 a.m.
Yeah, 10 a.m. on Saturday, which is fun. So
Yeah.
you're ahead of us. How's my future
I
looking?
always know the future, right?
I love that. I think it's fun. I think it's very, very cool. So you have come into my life from social media channels in Sinead Fine's group, Tarot for Women, where I first met you and we connected. And I thought you were really cool and very special and started to learn a little bit more about what it is that you're specializing in. And I'm going to give you the microphone here, please, to introduce yourself to everybody and tell us a little bit about who you are in the world.
Okay. So I am Mel, people call me, which was shortened when I moved to Australia. It was always Melissa, and
Okay.
then Australians shorten everything. So,
Oh, I did not
uh,
know.
yeah, very, very quickly I became Mel.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm here. I have a spiritual healing based business,
Mm.
which I started in 2015. 3 kids in all of that.
Mm.
And I'm just kind of always like moving through that in a way that serves me, serves my family, serves everybody around me. So I'm doing akashic record work, which I've started with. Actually, it's not true. I did Reiki before that, which opened up channels for me.
Mm.
Then I did the Akashic Record stuff. And then I did those 2 things for a while. And then I'm now doing tarot, which has become my most recent love. And it's just an extension of the work I've already been doing in the records. It's like my channeling with the tarot just went.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that's how I met you, was the tarot that you
The
did
tarot.
yeah, privately. You did a tarot reading for me, and
Yeah.
it was an excellent reading. And I mean, I've had myself a reading or two, and I read my own cards, but you did a really fabulous job, and I was super impressed. And you have an interesting story because you're an American. You're an
I am.
American.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you notice? Yeah.
I did. I'm like, you don't
I
sound
forgot
like
that
the
part.
other people. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I'm also American. And you came to Australia. See, I just love interesting stories. I love how people get to where they are because, I mean, obviously I relocated back to Sweden. That's interesting for some people to know that I
It
lived
is
in America for
interesting.
39 years and then moved back to Sweden. And you're an American and you tell the story about how you met your man.
Okay. Okay. So I was 25, living in San Diego, and just getting up to all kinds of fun stuff that 25-year-olds do. And yeah, I just kind of came to this crossroads where I was like, this is not my future. Like staying up till 3 in the morning, doing all the things, the
Yeah.
partying. And I was like, I gotta get out, but I didn't really know what to do. So I just started searching through programs and I found this program. I'm Jewish. And I found this program that was like, come to Israel, be a teacher, get a certificate, and teach Israeli children how to speak English. We want native speakers
Okay.
so that they can get more handle on the accent and some of
Okay.
the
Yeah.
idiosyncrasies, the way that English speakers speak. Did it, got on board. 50 people from around the world got accepted, not around the world, around the country, US got accepted. I was one of those people, which was amazing. Went to Israel, started this program. We got chucked into what's called a merkaz klita, which is an absorption center. So it's like where they put the refugees or like immigrants, not
Okay.
refugees. Yeah, very luxurious tile floors, metal bunks, cockroaches, and barely warm showers.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Is roughing it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we were here, and this is where I met my husband. He's Australian, of course. That's how I ended up here. And he came riding up on his bicycle one day in his Israeli fireman's uniform and said something like, "Good day, mate." No, probably just joking. I don't know. He said something.
Something very Australian.
Yeah. And it was like the twinkle in the eyes. And he's like, "Oh, do you want to go for a run?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, I run." And then so
I'd be like,
later,
run.
yeah. So later we went for a running date, and we took off, and he starts running. I was like, "Oh, I thought you meant, oh no, I don't run. I jog slowly."
Preferably in a car.
Yeah. So he was like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
Run. I meant walk really fast with a bit of a gait.
I'm American.
Yeah. So it was so funny. So we jogged ever so lightly to this park called Renana Park, and it's nicknamed Lovers Park. And it's very cute. It's got all these little sections and rose gardens and trees and like a bridge with a lake and a gondola and, you know, pathways and arbors with flowers and benches. Like it's this beautiful place in the middle of Renana. And we just like went on our journey, and we sat ourselves down on this bench under a tree, and we just started talking. And 3 hours later, like just connecting on a very deep spiritual level.
Wow.
And yeah, that's it. And then, you know, like we were walking back, and he stopped me on the bridge, and he looked at me with those eyes like he wanted to kiss me. And I was like really nervous.
You're like,
and I just, yeah. And I was like, this feels like so cheesy. I don't know. So I actually said, I was like, "I know that you're like want to kiss me right now, but like I feel really awkward and uncomfortable," you know?
He's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not."
Yeah. And he just kind of laughed. And he's like, "No, like I don't even know what he said." But anyways, we had a little smooch.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was kind of it. Like there was a couple of weeks where he like ghosted me, which was funny. And he told me later, he said, "Well, I wasn't looking for something serious. And I kind of knew that you were the real deal. And that's not where I was at."
Okay.
But then when when I kind of called him on it and we had the conversation, I think he was like, "Okay.
Okay. All right. Fine. Fine.
All right."
I'll man up now. So then
Yeah.
when,
Like,
I mean, you've moved, I mean, you just never came back to America. You
yeah,
moved
I just never came back to America.
to
Yeah.
Australia. That's,
So
you're like,
he went back to Australia. So one funny thing, there was so many synchronicities. It was crazy. One of them was that my flight came in on July 19th. His original flight was meant to leave back to Australia on July 19th, but he'd wanted to stay a little bit longer. So he extended it 3 months. So there was like the day that I came in was the day that he met, but he had changed. So lots of little funny things like that. But
I love synchronicities.
yeah, so he went back, and I was like, "Well, I'm not ready to go back because I kind of just got here." So I stayed, and I traveled with a girlfriend. We rented a car. I went up and down Israel and looked at all the things, and that was really cool. And then I went to Australia, and that was not to the liking of, I would say, anybody in my family.
Well, that's a little bit that's a big jump. That's a long distance away for sure. Yeah.
Like you met somebody, a boy, and you're leaving your program and you're moving to Australia.
So was he Jewish then? Is he Jewish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. I have to bring this up because it's been so heavy on my heart about everything. This is going to be very briefly that we're just going to talk about this, because I know that you've been super impacted by this.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously you have been there, you have loved the country, you have friends, family. I mean, it's terrible. It's so tragic. everything that is happening. So I just want to bring that to light, because I don't want to be tone
Yeah.
deaf right now in this very important time
No,
in this world on October, whatever
it's been
today's
hard.
date is. I don't even know.
7th, it was
Yeah.
7th,
Yeah.
1,300
Mm,
Jews
yeah.
murdered in like 7 hours.
Hideous. Just,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's nearly unspeakable, but we must
it's
speak.
been hard. It's been
Yes.
hard to get back to life, but
Yeah. Yes, it's been
that's,
super duper heavy.
it's been
But the thing
heavy.
is, right, we have to move forward. We have to. That is what is our responsibility. And this conversation today, why, I mean, obviously you and I were talking about you being on this podcast way before anything happened with this in Israel. And the importance of the conversation for me was, I love to have people on this podcast that are daring to do life their own way, that are not embarrassed or ashamed or trying to be like everybody else, certainly in a world of sameness where there is far too much of the vanilla, the white milk, where everything is just like completely homogenized, and nobody actually stands out. And I don't like it. And when I met you and I was talking to you, I'm like, ooh, how interesting that you left America and then you moved across the world, and now you have 3 children, and you're doing the work that, I mean, the kind of work that you choose to do is, I mean, spiritual work is, that's not for the faint at heart, I can tell you. And depending on where you're living and depending on who you surround yourself with, it can be extremely difficult with who is your community. Do you feel like you are supported in the community that you are in with your
Oh,
spiritual gifts? And you do have very many gifts spiritually.
thank you. A few, not many.
Yeah.
It is very churchy little town. And yeah, I've been kind of secretly behind the scenes working with people, people who even belong to the church.
Bum, bum, bum.
So yeah, I just don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, no.
I just don't, like, I'm just out
That's
there.
why
I've
you're
just
here. That's why you're on
recently,
this show. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Good.
everybody knows me. I'm also the Halloween advocate.
Is that bad?
So I sort of organize, well, I think some people think that Halloween is the devil's birthday. I just recently learned.
Okay. Okay. In your village, that's
Um,
what, I don't know, that's
yeah,
what people think all over
yeah,
the world. I
I
don't know.
don't really know. I was very
Okay.
confused when somebody told me that.
The
So,
devil's.
anyways, I have like the Halloween page in town and I like ramp it up and you know, that's kind of me.
Hmm?
And then also I've gone public as like the tarot reader in town. So now I
Nice.
set up at the local Yaz bar. I'm done for the year. But every other week I go and I do tarot readings at our local wine bar,
That's fun.
very publicly, which has been
Yeah.
fun.
Yes. But you've
So
had really good support, right? I mean,
I've
people have been
had great
coming.
support.
Yeah.
They have. Yes. So that's been very cool to see. Uh, we live so close to Canberra. So there is a very progressive type of person who's starting to infiltrate and kind of maybe take up more of the population than the other half. So it's a very interesting place. You've got this little tiny country Australian town that's kind of backwards, but then on the other side, you have these like public servants working for the government and for, like very intellectual. And yeah, so it's an interesting place. So I've had support from the owner of the Yaz bar, but yeah, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm the local psychic. I'm the local channeler.
Good.
I celebrate the devil's birthday, like
Halloweeny.
Halloweeny.
Mhm.
And yeah, you know what? I love it because I'm
Good.
the beacon of light for the people who are
Mm.
like me
Yeah. Or people who
and
need
who
you,
need
right?
me.
Yeah. Especially if
Yeah,
they didn't have anybody, or that they didn't realize that there was anybody around that they could connect like this with. And that's why it's like
true.
people who are the best kept secrets in the world. I'm like, well, who are you doing a favor for? You're not
Yeah,
helping anybody if you don't tell
yeah,
anybody that you have these beautiful gifts and that you can do tarot like a mad woman. I mean, it is a shame when
yeah,
people do not share their gifts, because then that's selfish. I think it's selfish when we
yeah.
do not do this. Yeah. So recently I got to talk about this because I think it's fascinating. the Akashic records, I've had people on before that have talked about the Akashic records a little bit, but you have just started doing something with your work that I think is so interesting. And I signed up. I'm like, me, I want to be a beta because it sounds so fascinating. And can you talk about that a little bit? I want you to tell people what it is that I'm
Yeah.
referencing.
Yeah. Okay. So Akashic records, right? An energetic database of anything that's ever happened since the beginning of time. So for people in their lives, also the land and what's happened on the land. Yeah. So
Mm.
I've done readings for people for a long time, and I still do. It's my Heal and Connect program. But then I thought, oh, I really love my home. I spend most of my time here, right?
Me
I'm an
too.
entrepreneur. I've got 3 little kids. I'm the main carer. And I just really connected to my home. And so there was some basic stuff that I'd seen about Akashic Record home readings. And it was like earthbound spirits, energies, land assignment. Yeah. Was it a burial ground, a sacred site, or like a battleground at some point? Things like that. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. And then I was like, ooh, wait a second. I can go further because we are our homes. And the things that occur in our space become in the walls of our homes. So I thought, wow, so if I can read the energies in the home, it's kind of like reverse engineering into personal development. It's like, what is in my office space? Ooh, it's anxiety. Ooh, okay. How does that look to me? Why is anxiety in here? So then it's like, okay, so now then we use the tarot and we sort of look at, what is this about? Where is this anxiety coming from? Is it yours? Maybe you've only been in this house for a year and it belongs to someone else, but you're still responding to it because it's still in the walls. So it's still influencing and amplifying any anxieties that already might be there. It'll make them bigger. Or is it, like you, Asa, who have a home that's 100 years old, and it, again, is it from a past family member? Or so you get to look at what's yours, what's not yours. Is the way I'm behaving totally from me? Or is it because there's an energy here stuck and it's amplifying how I'm feeling? So maybe last month I was anxious, but actually I've totally sorted that and I'm feeling really confident this month. But I'm still feel that energy.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, it's a process. So, okay, well, let's clear that out. Find it. Knowledge is enlightenment. Enlightenment is the gateway to change, right? So each room is going to have a story to tell. So we're personifying the rooms, right? We're giving them little personalities. And in this way, we can get to know and connect with our homes, for those of us that love our homes.
I loved this process. I'm just gonna put in my 2 cents right now, because we have certain amount of, like, there's bedrooms, there's dining room, there's a family room, there's a kitchen, there's all these different rooms. And you went through, Mel, I'm gonna call you Mel now. Mel
Yes,
went through all the rooms and like showed me energetically what is happening in this room. And it's like, it was so clarifying to me, and it was like looking into a mirror. And my home is my absolute favorite place. I love coming home. I love traveling, but my favorite thing is to come home. There's actually a Swedish saying, borta bra men hemma bäst. Away is good, but home is best. And that's true. I mean, I live my life that way. And the second I come home, it's like, oh, I always land, and for me to be in a home that's 100 years old, I mean, I know it comes with history. Of course it comes with history, especially because it's Thomas's family home. And you helped me go through every single room and the land, and to tell me what's on the land underneath the home and on our whole property and all the outbuildings. And I mean, to me, I think it is of vital importance that if there is something I need to know, tell me, let me know. And we're going to get it worked out. I would like to know. And I want clean energy in my home. Right. And that starts with me also, right? It starts here. It starts in here, that I want to have clean energy. And I ask for help from people like you, who even have the ability to do this kind of work, which I'd never even heard of this. I mean, do you know how long I've been talking to people online, and you're the first person I've ever heard doing something like this.
It's funny, isn't it?
It's
I
magical.
just created it. It came into me.
Hey, you got to download, girl. You got to
I
download. That's where that came from. And
did.
you were given this like this clue of you got the ability to, consult the tarot. Consult the
You?
tarot. Yeah. The 10 of Wands. This is a card. I just pulled it super quick. Look at the struggle. I got all this. I got it. I got it. No, I don't need any help. Right. You need help. You
You
need
do.
help. And,
Open your
Mel,
eyes.
yeah, open your eyes. Mel's the girl to help you, because it's about, energetic work is beautiful work. And sometimes when you're up here, spend so much time in your head, like so many of us do, we got to drop into this and into our sacral, all basically everything from here on
Oh,
down.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we
to connect.
never tend to connect or think about the energy, but the
Mm-mm.
energy is the beginning,
Mm.
it's the process, and it's the way to shift.
Mm.
It's the bones.
I also love what you said when you were reading my rooms about how to, this is a way for you to look at it, right? It's like this, it is the way it is, but you have to potentially change a shift in the perception
Yeah.
of it and how you could maybe go about it. It's like, oh, maybe you could talk about that, like more.
Yeah, okay. So it's sort of like we have a situation, a thing is a thing. We have a family member, we have a child, and they are just the way they are. Yeah. So how are they? Let's have a look at that. Let's see what's floating around. Okay, so like we can't change other people, but we can change the way we see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why tarot is such a beautiful tool, anyways, because it gives those new perspectives and those new insights.
Mm.
So you look at the problem, you understand the problem, you connect to the problem, and you see, okay, I can't shift that my teenager is angsty. Okay, but how do I see that in a different way? What is he going through? Maybe I can connect with him or her on a level that allows me to see what is at the root of this? Why are you feeling like this?
Mm.
And then we chat, we consult the tarot and the Akashic records, because I'm in the Akashic records of the home doing this work. So all of the information, the source is from the records. And it's like, okay, we can't change it. How do we look at it a different way so that we can shift some of that energy if we see it differently?
Mm.
Right? Because energy is a loop. And as long as you think the same way and you act the same way, you're going to be stuck in this loop. That's how energy works.
Mm.
But if you just put a kink in that,
Mm.
break the chain.
Like a wedge.
Oh, a wedge. Like, well, wait a
Yeah.
second. Did you ever think of it this way? Do you
Yeah.
understand why this is there?
Mm.
And then it breaks that link. And
Mm.
then things start to shift because they've been freed.
Mm. I love that. That loop business. I
Yeah.
know all
Yeah.
about that. I
That's the way our brain
completely,
works.
I know. It's
Yeah.
and the power of changing a situation like in a matter of a second by changing how you look at it, by adding in another, like, wait a minute, well, what about that? What about a different perspective, or like choosing to change your perception of it is, I mean, when I have been looping, and God knows I have done this for years, I have done the loop. And I mean, as I was doing it last night, as I was laying in bed thinking about a song I couldn't get out of my head. Yes, I know. But the idea of just doing one thing differently.
Yeah.
And when we are in our home or we are in our space, I mean, you could do this in like office spaces too, couldn't
Oh,
you?
absolutely. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
talked about that. I'd say I'm not
Oh.
quite connected to the workplace stuff yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a whole different kettle of fish too, because how many people are in there? Like,
Yeah.
you look, it's totally possible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So interesting. I just think it's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
very cool. And I think, I feel like we would love all of our family to participate in self-development practices.
Mm.
But you know what? Oftentimes we're the ones that are doing the work, and we can
Yeah.
actually, you know, disarm people through wisdom. You
Mm.
know, we can change the situation through the way that we see it. And if we work on ourselves,
Yeah.
then you
Mm.
can actually break down the armor of everybody else around you just by what you've learned. So
Yeah.
by getting an understanding of what is happening in the homes,
Mm.
it allows you to get that wisdom, to have that new information drop in, to
Mm.
start shifting,
That was
even
so
though
beautiful.
they're not the ones showing up, but that's okay.
Yeah. You know, because you're right. It's like what is my responsibility? My responsibility is to self. Okay. What if this is my responsibility and I want to get to know more about something, what do I need to do? I need to ask for help. I need to extend a hand, right? I need to ask for
Yeah.
help. Because maybe this is I don't know how to access the Akashic records. But you know what? I know Melissa knows how, so maybe I can contact Melissa for such a thing. And
Yeah.
you know, that is the thing, like the bottom line of the underlying is the intention then for this person to understand more about their home and more about, because you're not necessarily going into like the other person's Akashic records. Like say, for
No.
example, you're doing a family, you're not
Yeah.
going into your child's Akashic records without their
No.
permission. That wouldn't even be cool. But
That's
you're
right.
doing the records on the home, like the
Which is
actual,
everybody's.
yeah, yes,
And so
which
it's
is,
connected to everybody.
yeah,
So
which,
ethically, yeah,
information,
yeah, information. And
information.
ethically, it's fine because it's all about how you work together.
Mm.
So ultimately, improving relationships.
Gosh, right. Could you imagine how many people
Yeah.
don't? I mean, that's, you help me. You help me with that too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
with the rooms. So interesting. It fascinates me. You've got some mad skills, girl. And and I appreciate you coming here today and sharing some of your stories. And I mean, you even homeschool your children, right? I mean, isn't
Yeah.
that something you're doing too? I'm like, you're definitely spending some time at your house. I mean, you are an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. You got your
Homeschool.
children, you're homeschooling, you're running a business, your husband's gone most of the time. And I mean, you understand the importance of a peaceful home.
It's
Most,
center.
yeah, right. Well, it's
Yeah.
right, because I mean, what does
Yeah.
that mean then for
Yeah.
everybody else if there's chaos and mayhem in the house
Oh
with
my
a bunch of
gosh.
clutter everywhere, all of that stuff. I love this
Totally.
conversation. I think it's so
Yeah.
interesting. See,
It's
it all
connected
ties
to your love
together.
of clutter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it
I mean,
all
not
ties
clutter.
together.
Yeah.
Decluttering, getting rid of
Decluttering.
the mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
just imagine when you walk into your home, you know, it feels like a warm hug instead of
Hmm.
like an anxiety about
Yeah.
everything
Oh,
that's waiting for you there.
oh gosh. Right.
Walking
Oh,
in and going, oh,
this
thank you,
has to be
home.
done. Yeah.
Thank you,
And that's
home.
something that you helped me with was, when you helped me
Yeah.
with looking at my house was the, because we have 100-year-old home, there's a lot of projects that need to be done, and kind of like the energy that I put around that, like, oh, as though it's like my house isn't good enough as it is. I'm like, I love my house. I love our home. And yeah, there's things that would be great if we painted the outside and we got a new bathroom and we did the new kitchen and all that stuff, but it ain't broke. There's
Yeah.
nothing
So the
broken.
energy was restlessness. That's what you
Yeah.
pulled up,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And so it's like, but I'm not restless. So
Right.
I don't want there to be that restless energy in it. I
Yeah.
want to be satisfied with how beautiful my home is right now. And if
Yeah.
something else changes down the road, that's cool. That's cool. And if it does, that's because we've created it.
Yeah.
But not like this, that, again, coming back to more moss to the people, the point of the movement is to stop pushing, to stop shoving, to stop. I want more, I want more, I want bigger, I want better. I don't know. I don't want that. So then, am I talking my talk? Am I walking my walk? Right. And that's why I need to surround myself with people like yourself who can reflect back to me. Well, also, this is what the energy is. And I'm like, it's not what I want it to be. So let's change that. We can
Yeah.
change that
Yeah.
once we
And that's what I
recognize it.
love. I love to change the way people see
Yeah.
themselves
Yeah.
because that's the power.
Hmm.
Like we are who we are, and who we are is a beautiful thing. Like, yeah, we've had some arrows chucked in there sometimes, right? But it's
Yeah.
like, that's okay. Let's just love all of it.
Mm.
and let's see it a different way. Let's
Yes.
understand it so we can shift it. And that's all the work that I do.
I love
That
that.
everything's about that.
Mhm.
When I do a tarot reading, it's almost like never negative because there's
No.
always a positive spin
Yeah.
on it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, this is showing up, but this means that.
Yeah. Yeah. What do
Now
you
it means
think?
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I loved when you did the
Yay.
tarot reading for me. It was so good. It was like, oh my gosh. It was like you could see me, and I never have even met you. You know, I mean, we've
Yeah.
talked like this, but I mean,
Yeah.
it was all in the cards, and then your interpretation of them, right? Energetically, you're reading them for me, which was a gift. You are a
Thank
gift, my
you.
friend.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you for the work you're doing in the world. Thank you for being a beautiful
thanks for
mom,
seeing me. Thanks
for
for seeing
being,
me.
oh my gosh, everybody
That
wants to be
means so
seen,
much to
valued,
me.
and heard.
Yes.
Yeah, good, good. I'm glad, because you know what? We
Yeah.
all deserve to be seen.
Yeah.
And that is part of this. The whole podcast is to lift beautiful people up in the world, so that people that I know or even don't know, or that people potentially who will want to listen, get to know you. I'm like, maybe they would never have known you before, but now they're going to know you,
No.
and they're going to get all your social media handles, so they can start following you, and they can start digging around and seeing what kind of cool things you're doing. And maybe they
Love
want to
it.
hire you for doing this amazing work in their home, if they
Yeah.
value their home and
Yeah.
the beautifulness of it all as much as I
Yeah.
do. Yeah. Yeah. This is big. I'm really proud of you for coming up with this, because it's important.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
excited about it. I'm
Me
excited to
too.
see where it all
I
goes.
know, it's exciting. Be part of the
Yeah.
journey. I'm excited to watch you
Yeah.
on your journey. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for today. Do you have any last minute things that you'd like to say to anyone that's coming into your heart, like right now? Anything that you'd want to say?
I kind of want to say, just like, dare to be you.
Mm.
Just dare to be you. Do
Mm.
it. Be the fool in the tarot. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's
Just
one of my favorite cards.
do it. Like,
Mm.
you will find your people, and the people that you think won't react positively, like, they probably will.
Yeah.
Like,
Or they don't
we
matter.
just, or they don't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
Doesn't
to
matter.
be yourself and to just do the things that your heart is calling you to do.
Mm.
Like, I promise you, it will always end up looking good.
Mm.
Even if there's a moment where it looks really yucky and weird, when you come out on the other side of that, you're going to be like, whoa, thank you.
Mm.
I am so aligned now in myself. And just allow yourself to be reinvented over and over and
I
over.
love that.
I
Yes.
have moved 25 times. Yeah.
Oh my God. You have?
I've moved 25 times.
Wow. That's a serious
So
reinvention.
I have reinvented, and
You got
every
that down.
time, yeah. So just be you. Don't be afraid who you're leaving behind. Be excited for who you're going to meet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
It
Yes.
feels like freedom.
Yeah. I love the taste of freedom.
Freedom.
Mhm.
Maybe that's our
Mm.
American blood.
Yeah. That's the American in us.
Freedom.
That's it. That is it. That's beautiful. Beautifully said, my friend. Beautifully
All
said.
right.
All right. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
today. Thank you
much.
for your
Thank you for
time.
having
I
me. Yes.
appreciate you, and I appreciate everything that you stand for. Please let me know how I can support you the
Yeah.
best. I really
And thank
would
you,
love
listeners.
to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
No,
you.
this is nice.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. Thank you for
listeners.
bringing them in too. I appreciate it. All right. Take care, sweetheart.
Okay.
Mwah. You have a
Mwah.
beautiful weekend. Yeah, that's right. It's
Yes,
weekend now for
it
you.
is.
All right. Take care, honey. Bye
Bye.
bye.